The Galaxy M21 and the M31 that we reviewed a while back were excellent value for money smartphones. Both were equipped with excellent Super AMOLED displays, awesome cameras, and huge 6000 mAh batteries. So these devices lived up to the legacy of Samsung's M series of smartphones. And now the company has added a new entry to the lineup in the form of the Galaxy M11, which is slightly cheaper than the M21. With that, you might expect the Galaxy M11 to be an equally value-oriented smartphone like its expensive siblings. But that's far from the truth. Frankly, I am quite disappointed with Samsung, as they could have easily capitalized on the anti-China sentiment and given a good set of specs on this phone. Launched at 19,000 in Nepal and 11,000 in India, I simply don't recommend anybody to buy this phone, and there are a bunch of reasons for that, so stick till the end of this video to find out. Design-wise, the Galaxy M11 has a matte plastic back, and honestly, I don't have a problem with it. The phone is lightweight with an ergonomic design featuring curved edges that helps for a comfortable grip. Similarly, the fingerprint sensor is located at the back and is positioned perfectly in terms of reach and unlocking. It is pretty fast and accurate too. You can opt for the software-based face unlock as well, but this only works when you are in an environment with enough lighting. All the buttons are placed on the right side and are fairly tactile and responsive to click as well. Moving on to the display, you get a 6.4 inches HD Plus TFT panel with a punch hole cutout on the top left side for the front-facing camera. And even though it's a TFT panel, Galaxy M11 isn't terrible to look at. It has an acceptable color spectrum with good enough viewing angles and a moderate level of brightness. Yet, the problem lies in what a few extra bucks can get you. For instance, the Galaxy M21 offers a much superior FHD Plus Super AMOLED panel and costs just about Rs 1500 for this upgrade in India. As a result, I really wish Samsung had gone with an FHD IPS panel or even a 720p Super AMOLED one. Having praised the company's display technologies for so long, it is kind of weird to see the company cut corners in the display department. Next up is the performance, and this is the aspect I am truly disappointed. While its direct competitors like Realme and Redmi are opting for the latest gaming-centric Helio chipsets from MediaTek, Samsung is still stuck with the 2-year-old Snapdragon 450 on the Galaxy M11. Pair this outdated chipset with a mere 3GB of RAM, the performance on this phone isn't that good. But casual tasks like web browsing, chatting, or light multitasking are well handled by the M11. However, that's about it. The inferiority of the phones becomes vivid once you bring slightly heavier apps into the mix or try to relaunch an app after keeping it in the memory for a while. To compare, I have also been using the Redmi Note 9, which comes at a similar price. And here, the Note 9 performs far better with greater fluidity and responsiveness compared to the Galaxy M11 thanks to the Helio G85 SoC. Getting to gaming, you can already imagine how my experience went, and you'd be right. I couldn't even play the standard PUBG Mobile in the lowest of settings. Therefore, I had to resort to PUBG Lite for a playable experience instead. Surprisingly, Call of Duty Mobile is smooth enough under medium settings. Moreover, it was also quite disappointing to witness the terrible touch latency, which totally ruined my gaming experience altogether. Now, packing in a good chipset in budget and mid-range phones has never been Samsung's strongest suits, but seeing this sudden surge in demand for MediaTek's affordable SoCs should at least be an eye-opener for the company. I mean, I've already made my point clear as to how the Snapdragon 450 on the Galaxy M11 lags behind MediaTek's Helio G70 or the Helio G80. Additionally, because of the Snapdragon 450, Samsung has had to install the core version of its regular One UI 2.0 based on Android 10. What this means is you don't get all the features that you typically get in a Samsung mid-range phone, like dedicated night mode, knock security, etc. Yeah, this phone is full of compromises. Moving on to the cameras, disappointments follow once again. The Galaxy M11 has a triple camera setup at the back, which consists of a 13-megapixel primary lens, a 5-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens, and finally a 2-megapixel depth sensor. Honestly, the images from the primary sensor do a pretty good job under well-lit environment, even though the overall color calibration algorithm is simply not on the same level as that of the M21. Due to this, the shots don't look as livelier as I'd want. And I'm not even expecting anything extraordinary out of this thing considering the price. Similarly, the low-light images are pretty unusable since they tend to be flooded with grains, and unless your hands are as steady as a rock, you'll always be getting a blurry image. As I said earlier, there is no dedicated night mode on this phone either, which further complicates the situation. Talking about the ultra-wide-angle lens, it's no good either. The resulting shots have less than vibrant colors, lack any sort of detail, and are therefore subpar only. Portrait images are average too. You can see how inaccurate and inadequate the background blur is, which goes on to show their budget roots. And like their rear cameras, the 8-megapixel selfie camera produces just average results too. The skin tone looks damningly pale and unlike anything you'd expect from a Samsung smartphone. Likewise, let's not talk about the videos in general, as it is limited to 1080p resolution at 30 fps with average colors, zero stabilization, plus the limited dynamic range. So overall, the Galaxy M11 is slightly below what I'd call average. On the contrary, the slightly costlier Galaxy M21 captures much better looking images in practically every aspect of your photo or videography. Now, you guys must be tired of hearing me complain about this phone, right? So a small piece of good news comes in the form of battery endurance. The phone has a massive 5000 mAh cell, which easily lasted me a day and a half. Samsung has also included a decent 15-watt charger inside the box that takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes to juice up the Galaxy M11 from nil to full charge. So let's wrap it all up. Now look, I am fond of Samsung products. I use the Galaxy S20 Plus as my primary phone and the Galaxy Watch Active 2 as my smartwatch, and I have openly praised the Galaxy M21 and the M31. Having said that, the Galaxy M11 on the other hand is just an average offering, and that's me putting it really nicely. The company definitely could have, or rather should have, given much better specs, especially in the performance and camera department. Thus, if you ask me, I would strongly recommend that you skip the M11 with the M21 by cashing in an additional couple of thousand rupees. With the M21, you'll be getting a much better device in general. Or if you are really tight on a budget and cannot afford to spend more, I suggest you go for last year's mid-range phones like the Redmi 8 or the Realme 5. So that was all for our honest review of the Galaxy M11. What would you do? Would you go for the Galaxy M11 or would you go for my advice? Do let me know in the comments below. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari and thank you for watching.